Hi there, today we're going to take a look at the new Archos 50 Saphir. Now Archos is a brand you may well have heard of. They're not particularly well known, but they are, within the circles that do know them, known for making some pretty reliable and decent budget devices, back from the days when they used to make MP3 and MP4 players, and up into the last few years where they've been focusing on Android smartphones and tablets. So this is the new 50 Saphir, 50 for the 5.0 inch screen, so 5-inch screen. The device is running Android 6 Marshmallow, which we'll see in a bit, and the phone itself is actually a rugged device, so this isn't your bog standard mid-range smartphone. It is one that has been built with a level of ruggedness to it. It's got 1 meter drop testing and an IP68 dust and water resistance rating. And a little quick rundown of the specs on the back. Nothing to particularly set the world on fire here, but it shows that it is a pretty decent mid-range phone. So the 1.5 gigahertz quad core, that's a MediaTek processor. You can check the full details on the Clove site. 2 gigs of RAM, there's the IP68, we've got 4G LTE expected, dual SIM to be expected from these kind of off-brand mid-range phones. And one thing that does stand out, a huge 5,000 milliamp hour battery. That is far more than you would expect from most phones. It does add a bit of weight to the device, which you can't feel through the screen there, but when I get this out and look at it in the hand, it is a fairly chunky, weighty device. But yeah, that will add some serious lifespan to the phone, both in standby and in full use, which, if you're planning to use this as a work phone, will be very useful to you. Now, the device itself, we will take a closer look in just a moment. Just what you get in the box here. So we've got not much, but there's your USB cable. So there's your it's micro USB. It's not USB-C, not yet for the Archos devices. Basic set of earphones. There's your wall charger. We've had this one sent across, this demo unit from Archos in Europe, so it's got a European charger. If you buy one from Clove, you'll get the 3-pin UK charger. A little bit of documentation. There's a SIM tray pin in there and a screen protector bundled in with the box as well. That's not a tempered glass protector, it's just a kind of scratch resistant film protector, but it's nice to have it thrown in as a bonus. Now let's look at the phone itself. So as I said, yeah, this is fairly weighty in the hand. It's not massive. It's still, quite a fair bit thicker than your average Samsung or iPhone or Sony phone, and it has to be to get this big battery that's taking up a lot of the back in here. So fairly thick, quite an angular design, lots of kind of ridges and edges. I suppose that kind of suits the target market for a rough and ready rugged phone. Those kind of people will want something tactile, physical in the hand that you can get a good grip of. It's not going to slip anywhere with a rubberized angular back. So yeah, I think in terms of the basic overall design, it ticks the boxes and it looks like what you would expect from a rugged phone. It doesn't have any flashes of colour on it. Some of these rugged phones sometimes have like a yellow flash or something, so you can see them easy in dark environments. But not on here. And if you look at the back, you'll see this Archos with Logic Instruments. You might be wondering, what is the Logic Instruments? Well, it's not a component. Logic Instruments are actually a subsidiary company of Archos. Archos purchased them a while ago. Logic Instrument are known for producing some very, very tough, rough and ready tablets, laptops, kind of military grade technology equipment. So Archos acquired them and have set them to design this device. Now, getting into the system, we've got a pretty bright 5-inch screen. It's 720p, so not 1080, and it's Android 6. It's not stock Android 6. You might think it is when you first boot it up, but when you take a look through the system, you'll notice there are a few tweaks. For instance, there's this old Android messaging app here, the old Android Gallery app, and if we go into the settings, there's a few extra things like turbo download option, the scheduled power off on and off, which you find on quite a few rugged phones. That's a nice feature to have. You can set the exact time you want the phone to turn off and turn back on again, so you're not wasting any power, especially useful if you may be away from power for some time. So yeah, there's a few little tweaks within the system UI, and you get a couple of extra apps here as well. You get the Archos video and MP3 player, you get Archos's file management system, so yeah, a few added value applications that you wouldn't find on a stock Android phone, kind of a cheaper off-brand rugged phone. Now, I've mentioned it having more value than a cheaper phone. This phone is actually fairly cheap itself. It's only £200, and compared to some of the other rugged phones on the market, that's really good value for money, actually. Here I am just pulling the SIM tray out. So you do get a dual SIM phone. It's a dual nano tray, one here and one here, or you can opt to put an SD card in instead of the second SIM. Got that the wrong way around. But yes, for the specification, this is a very affordable device. I think the closest thing we have on the market at the moment is the Cat S40, which is £300, so another £100 more expensive than this, and that doesn't really have the specification that this phone does. We mentioned the 1.5 gigahertz quad-core processor. You've also got 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of storage, the 720p screen, which is Gorilla Glass 4, LG on there, 13 megapixel camera on the back, which outstrips, alongside that 5,000 milliamp battery, outstrips most of the other rugged phones that are actually more expensive than this. So yeah, Archos have hit a very, very reasonable and attractive price point with this device. And having had a play with it, you can drop it. It does what it says on the tin. It is rugged, it is chunky, it is what one would expect from a rugged phone, and it's not going to leave a big hole in your pocket either. Thanks for watching.